Today, we're going to show you how to make some passive income.
Now, a lot of people think that you need like a 10, 20, 25K account to start trading, stocks or whatever, but there is another market called the foreign exchange market.
Forex is not a scam. Your friend that was trying to get you in that, business meeting, that was a scam.
Nobody tells you about is that you're going to be living a certain lifestyle, that you're going to be making all this money right off the bat. There is such thing as trader's luck. There's such thing as beginner's luck, but that runs out quick because we were so distracted with what we're doing, living a certain lifestyle. I blew another account. Another big account. That's a good question. So now we're going into the sauce here, right? So
you see
a little bit of sauce.
Yeah. Okay, but y'all guys are gonna have to catch that on a part 2.
I come in here, it looks professional. Tune into the content.
Welcome back, everybody, to a special episode of Direct Discussions Podcast. Today, we're going to show you how to make some passive income.
Yeah, I like that. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Direct Discussions, #1 podcast in Texas. Y'all get ready, sit back and relax and enjoy the show. Let's get right into it.
Alrighty, guys, we're going to go ahead and introduce our first guest today on this very special episode of How to Make Passive Income with Direct Discussions, featuring Ariel. Oh, God damn it! I forgot your name. I'm gonna cut this part.
Delgado, you're good.
I don't know why I want to put Garza at the end of everybody's name.
Hey, put that in the pie. Hey, man, that's the raw footage.
In my head, I did that with Angel, and it was crazy, bro. I did that with Angel, but there's also a wrestler named Angel Garza.
If you guys look, I know trading can be. I'll go into a lot of detail with trading. Mm-hmm. But if you guys want to talk about other things, man, I'm down.
Oh, yeah. We're gonna talk about everything else besides trading. Because everything about this episode is about you as a person.
Okay.
And then we'll talk about your career at the end, really. Because everything is how you got into it, who you are as a person. And then we'll slowly get it.
All right, guys. Without further ado, let's begin. Ariel Delgado, welcome back to another episode of Direct Discussions Podcast. Go ahead and tell the guests a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Ariel Delgado. Again, thank you guys for bringing me in. I know we had discussed through Instagram and a few messages on what we're trying to accomplish here, and what kind of knowledge can I drop when it comes to the trading world, right? I think that's something that everyone really got into at some point in the last few years, especially during COVID. The shutdown happened and everyone tried to figure out how to make money online. Yep. And it's still very relevant, especially with the crypto market. I don't know if you guys are really familiar with the crypto market, but I can definitely delve deep into that as well. But yeah, I've been trading for a few years. I am originally from California. I've been moving around the last few years as well. But the trading career really started for me back in 2016. And ever since then, man, I've just been, I've been locked into it, been doing multiple different things, which I can also go into as well, apart from trading. But yeah, I think this is exciting.
So what other things have you gotten yourself into?
So other things that I've gotten into apart from trading is, I've been getting into luxury watch reselling. That's another little venture.
That's a good market to get into. That's more of the higher class. You gotta have money to get in that.
Yeah. Oh well.
But for sure, that's a nice market to get into.
Yeah. No, for sure. It's especially here in DFW. Not many people know it, but it's an unsaturated market for it. Whereas like New York, LA, Miami, Chicago, those big cities, it's huge. Right. I mean, you can do anything on a marketplace such as Facebook, and you can flip anything. But you have to stick to one thing that you enjoy doing. And I love watches. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a crazy collection, but when it comes to luxury watches, I like to buy them, wear them for a bit, and then resell them. Yeah. Especially when you know that there's value in them, right? And you have your Rolexes, your Omegas, your Breitlings, Tudors, Tag Heuers, all that good stuff. And obviously once you get into a certain level, now you start trading, Pateks and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I heard Rich and Millie's actually going down a little bit right now.
They're still in that 200K.
Oh, yeah. I just heard they're going down a little bit. That's just something I've heard.
Yeah.
That's crazy. See, but the thing is what makes watches so appealing to people? What is it? Because I mean, it just tells time, and if we want to tell time, we just look at our phone. So, what is really appealing to the these more luxurious watches?
Well, it's what you're into, right? And a lot of people are into different things. People like to collect cars. People like to, certain accessories, maybe chains, things like that, right? But watches, they've been around for so many years.
Yeah.
And a lot of people collect more of the vintage watches, more of like Rolexes that are in the 90s, that were made in the 90s. That's kind of considered to be like a rare find.
Yeah.
So if you can find, multiple rare watches and they hold their value, that's the thing, is watches, they hold their value. Even at retail, you can buy a Rolex, say Datejust, for, 6, 7K at Rolex. And once you buy it, it really won't lose its value all that much. It'll maybe lose maybe 1,000, 2,000 of its value. But it's so, the market for used watches are traded so highly because there's always that, there's always profit to be made if you get it at a good price. So if you go on Facebook Marketplace and you find, you do your research, you find certain watches, certain styles that are selling. You can always do your research through eBay, through different platforms, Chrono24. And if you find a good watch that's, right now is going for $4,500, you can negotiate that online to maybe $3K. If you negotiated $3K and someone's willing to let it go because they need the money, you know what I'm saying? You buy it and you resell it for $4K. You made $1,000.
Yeah.
You kind of undercut the market a little bit.
So, go ahead. Okay. So we're talking about watches right now and your experience with selling and reselling them. But take us back to that pivotal moment in your life where you're like, okay, I want to get into watches. Did you grow up with like a father figure in your household where they had a really nice watch and they were like, I really like that. And then he kind of put you on game, or how did that go about?
I originally got into it because my dad has a pretty nice collection of them. Like he's got Omegas, he's got some Breitlings, and I've always liked watches. I always like to accessorize myself, right? Anywhere you go, you gotta look sharp, you gotta look good, and that's one thing that I saw. I was like, okay, well, how can I tap into that market to try to make some profit off of it? Because you can make money anywhere.
Yeah.
And this kind of goes into the other things that I do as well. Is my family, my dad, my brother especially, they're into reselling cars. So they'll buy and resell cars.
I was about to say
That's another, you know what I'm saying? So you kind of start tapping into different areas on how you can make money.
Yeah.
There's so many ways you can make money, man. And you don't need a ton of capital to do it. So, same thing with the trading, the trading industry, right? You don't need a ton of capital to make money. Now, a lot of people think that you need like a 10, 20, 25K account to start trading, stocks or whatever. But there is another market called the foreign exchange market. That's Forex, right? And that really blew up during COVID because that was a time when this company called IML and IM Academy, I don't know if you guys are familiar with like pyramid schemes and all that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that was a big hype. Now I never got into one, right? The way I got into trading really was, like I said, in 2016, but I didn't get introduced into Forex in 2016. I got introduced into the crypto market back when Bitcoin was still hovering around that 11, 12K mark. It wasn't crazy. Yeah, I mean it was for it to be at 11K, that's still good. But I really experimented around that time when I made my first investment on Bitcoin. I had $1,000 to my name in my savings account. And I was like, you know what? I had a good buddy of mine. He's like, hey man, you're still early. Drop that 1,000 if you have it. Cool. Okay, cool. Now you're not going to purchase a full Bitcoin, but you can purchase a percentage of it. And I made that purchase on Coinbase, which is a terminal that you can.
Yeah, I know that one. Yeah.
You guys remember?
Yeah.
Okay.
Coinbase.
So Coinbase is a really, really good platform. It's been out for years, very well trusted. But I dropped that $1,000, and it was when it was rallying back into like that 15K. That same day it hit 20K.
Oh, so it was going up.
It was going up. Now I didn't buy it at 11K. I didn't buy it at 12K. I bought it at 18K. I bought it at 19K. And I remember this like it was yesterday because this was really what paved the way for me to get into trading. In a matter of 30 minutes, it hit the 20K mark. something happened in the market where all these terminals, Coinbase, KuCoin, Bitmart, Binance, they all froze. And I couldn't get out of my investment. And 30 minutes later, Bitcoin drops back down to 12, 13K.
Dang.
I lost $1,000, right?
Yeah.
And at this point, you know, I'm getting by paycheck to paycheck. I was an assistant housekeeping manager at the time at a hotel. And yeah, it was a rough time. Like, 1,000 may not sound like a lot, but at that time it was.
No, yeah.
You know, and so for
hard.
me it was. And so, you know, the way I took it, a lot of people would take it as like, damn, you know, why am I even getting into this? Like, this is dumb. Why would I invest like this?
Yeah.
But to me, it was like, well, damn, you know, if it would have hit 30K, if it would have hit 40K, I would have doubled my account. I would have made 2,000.
So if you were able to that day, would you have been able? Would you have cashed out when it went up?
Probably not.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything. I didn't know any better. Probably not. I probably would have still lost it.
Okay, so along the way, how did you start learning more and more about day trading?
Yeah, that was 2016. In 2017, I got into, I started learning a little bit more about Forex, right? Forex was still in its premature phase where not many people were learning about it. And a buddy of mine in Orlando, which, you know, I've known him for years, since high school, he told me about it. He was already on it. And he's like, hey, you know, look into this foreign exchange, Forex. Okay, cool. I looked into it. And at the time, I didn't have like a structure to learn off of. I basically did some research on Instagram, and at the time, signal providers were a big thing. Signal providers are people you pay a membership towards, and they will send you like call outs, like, okay, buy here, sell here, you know, and some guy I found on Instagram, he's from like South Africa, or I don't even know where he was from, but he's from a different country around the world. But, you know, again, I trusted him with my funds, and I told him, hey, you know, I got 500, I can invest right now, you know, but what's the membership fee? He's like $75 a month. Okay, cool. Did it. And the first 2 weeks, I flipped that account to 1,000, right? It was pretty good, but based off of his call outs. But the one thing that I was missing was my risk management, which I'll go into a little further. But my risk management was key. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know how to maintain risk, how to take away from risk, how to protect it or protect my account. And that same week, I blew the whole account, went up to 1,000, blew the account completely. And that's when I knew. I was like, okay, now I really need to learn, because I can't rely on other people telling me when to buy and when to sell. And so I decided to take a course in Miami, an in-person course for 5 days. There's a really famous guy, in the trading industry. He's very well known. Same as Q Banks. You'll find him on Instagram. He's really, really cool. But at the time, he was offering the in-person course, and I went out to Miami, stayed at a hotel every single day from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. We went through a very intensive course to learn all the basics, intermediate side, advanced side. By the time you leave that place, you're feeling like, okay, I can take over. You know, I can definitely get into some serious trading now.
So did you have to pay to get into that?
Yeah. So that course was $2,500 at the time.
Okay.
$2,500. Yeah.
Not too bad. Not too bad to learn some information.
It's a $2,500 course, and then afterwards, if you wanted his online course, I believe it was $700 at the time. So just a one-time payment, and you get, you know, all his videos, all his courses, everything that he teaches. And so once I came back from Miami, I felt confident. I felt good. I had saved up some decent amount of capital at the time, which was $2,000. To me, like I said, it was a lot. And so I made the conscious decision that if I was going to focus on something, I was just going to let go of whatever it is I got going on and focus on this. Mm-hmm. So I quit my job. Right.
There you go. Day trading.
There you go.
I quit my job.
Day trading.
I quit my job and I went full-time trading. It worked out the first 2 weeks. I was making at least $200-$300 a day.
And what year was this?
2018 by that time.
2018?
2018.
Okay. Yeah. I'm just trying to get a perspective on like what the market was looking like around that time when during the whole stories.
I would think that was a pretty good time. 2018.
Oh yeah, it was definitely a good time. The market was booming. Yeah, no, everything.
Oh yeah, Biden was no. Trump was in the White House.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, well, with my whole experience with crypto, it's funny because I actually also got put on by a friend.
Okay.
And it's funny how that works out. It's always a buddy putting you on.
Yeah.
Unless it's one of those buddies who are like, hey bro, you trying to make some passive income? Yeah, they're like, I'm on the phone with my mentor. You want to come to a business meeting?
Yeah.
That's the pyramid scheme. It sounds like almost.
Yeah, they haven't hit you up in years or months. And it's like, hey man, look, you know, how you been? Everything good? Well, we're all getting together in my place, you know, come through. And they have a whole presentation. They got
literally, man. There was this other one. It was called, I don't know if y'all know, it's called Candid. Back in the day, man, I'm talking about everybody from high school was like, bro, you gotta come. You gotta come. I'm like, yo, that's not real. That's not real. It was like months later, everybody was not talking about it no more. I was like, hey, what's going on with Kayani? They're like, you know, just nothing, man. I'm just like, oh my goodness. See, this is exactly why I didn't want to get into it.
Yeah.
But it's that same scenario.
Before we get back into crypto, my first experience with a pyramid scheme was in 2016. You know, I was at my job and I'm out there doing stuff outside, and a guy comes on. He's like, "Hey man, you look like a pretty hardworking man." Yeah. And in my head, I'm like, "Oh fuck!" like I've already I know where he's going with this because everybody wants to grease you up before they want to pitch you something. So oh yeah. So you happy here? And I'm like, yeah. I just got hired like 3 weeks ago. Oh man, I have a whole business. I can show you how to make some passive income. And I heard passive income and I was like, oh my God, why did I respond to this guy? I was like, fuck. so I further along the conversation, and then I'm like, yeah, cause I don't want to be rude and, shut you out unless you're knocking on my door and shit.
Of course.
But so, after that, we set up a little meeting, met up at Popeyes. Out of all places.
Popeyes.
Yeah, out of all places, right? And he started showing me his whole spread, what he does. And long story short, it was Amway.
Oh, Amway was the starter for everything. Okay, yeah, that's right.
And Amway's still going now, isn't it?
Well, the thing is that they have a legitimate business where they actually sell the products, right? They sell products and at a discounted rate. I get it. But man, that was also that whole time was sketch, bro. That was. The guys that I've never heard from since high school hitting me up, telling me, come to this place because we're gonna have a meeting and we're all gonna network and this and that sounds cool. But once you're there, it's like a whole PowerPoint presentation, and I'm like, at the end of the night, so what'd you think, man?
Come work for us. Do it that way.
Yeah.
And then also too, when I was at that job, one of the clerks was actually involved in some sort of Amway pyramid scheme because he was selling like glutathione and shit. Yeah. He was selling that, and he invited me over to his house, and it turns out it wasn't even his house. It was his mentor's house. It was like a $300,000 house at the time. This was back in 2016. So, it was a pretty big house. Yeah. It's like, I'm getting the impression, oh man, this guy's actually doing something.
Yeah.
And 2 weeks later, he ends up quitting. I haven't heard from the guy since, bro.
He probably didn't even live there for sure.
He had the whole presentation, and he's like, yeah, man, all you got to do is just purchase this bundle and, pitch it to 2 other people. I was like, I don't want to pitch shit to nobody, bro.
Yeah, man.
I'm 19 at the time. I'm like, bro, I'm worried about, gas money, textbook money, coming to and from work and, college. It's like, bro,
you're not even worried about investing at that time.
I know.
No, not at all, man. No.
Hey, so I want to take it back just a little bit further. You said you were from California, then you moved to Orlando. Yeah. So what inspired you to want to move to Orlando after leaving California? Because California is a pretty good place, I would think.
Yeah, no, it was a beautiful place. Mm-hmm. But it's depends because I would disagree in LA. I would agree because LA, and I'll go into that, but LA, no, man. Now, the Bay Area, San Francisco, really cool.
Yeah, really nice place.
So what made the move, I didn't really have much of a choice. Actually, I was 13 at the time. And my dad made the conscious decision of moving out to Orlando for a better opportunity. Mm-hmm. So at the time, I didn't think about it. In the sense that, I was 13. I don't know much. I'm not fully, my brain isn't fully developed to understand why we're making the move. Mm-hmm. Now, at the age I'm in now, I understand why my dad did what he did, to get us out of that, to shape us out, mold us into who we are now. So I can appreciate that on his end, because not only did he sacrificed so many years of his life to make sure that my mom and my brothers and, we're all, shaped out and taken care of. Yeah. So, obviously at the time, moving to Orlando was a pretty, to me, it wasn't, I wasn't, like I said, I didn't understand because I not only left my friends in California, but my cousins, my family and all that. But man, had we not made that move, I don't know if I'd be here right now. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I'd be in the position I'm in.
So what kind of environment did you grow up in California where it was a necessity to move out to Orlando?
Well, for one, now looking at it from this perspective, it was way too expensive. Mm-hmm. So we didn't necessarily live in the best places, right? I mean, a lot of these places were infested with all kinds of insects and things like that. But again, and this is where I admire my dad and I admire my mom too, because she, previous to where she was in a different situation, she kind of had to really put herself out there to make it work. And, she worked her ass off to make sure I was okay. At the time, I was the only child. Then she met my dad, and that's when, really things took off for us because he moved to Orlando for a position that now he's 20 years in the same company. He's about to retire this year. I don't know if I should be saying that, but anyway, I'm just going to say it. So he's looking to really venture out into a different field. And I'm like super happy for him because, for the longest, he's always thought about us. Now I have 2 brothers. I have 2 sisters. My 2 sisters live in Florida. And then I have my 2 brothers here.
So looking at your relationship with your dad, and I don't know if it's just me, but I like to gauge where I'm at in comparison to where my parents were at when they were my age.
Yeah.
Do you do that yourself?
Oh yeah, no, for sure. My dad's at my age where he was at the time, much more successful in the sense that he was very much aware of what he needed to do. Now, I'm not saying I don't have self-awareness. I'm just saying that like he was in a spot where he came from a Air Force background. So he was, programmed a little bit differently to where I'm at. Yeah. And I can, like I said, I look up to him. I admire him because of that, because, a lot of people wouldn't do the things that he did to get us in a situation that we're in now, obviously, once I hit 18, that's when I had to really kind of venture out, do my own thing. I felt like it was necessary for me to do that. Again, when I was a kid, I didn't understand it, but now it's like, he shaped me out to venture into different things and take risk and take chances and all that good stuff that, now are shaping out into my future and something I look forward to. So again, yeah.
I think that makes sense too, because if you think about it, he was just training you to become uncomfortable.
Yeah, exactly. He trained me to be uncomfortable. I was uncomfortable as hell when I was a kid, but now it's like, okay, I get it. I understand. And so I've taken all that to kind of shape out my own future, man, and whenever I need someone to go to or talk to, he's the one person I go and talk to,
A lot of people don't realize this, but the most growth comes from when you're uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Which, we can all agree from, dude. Yeah. Because it's like, it puts you in that gear where you're just like, all right, what's next? All right, what do I got to do? You weigh out all your options and you don't have that time to like dilly-dally and be like, maybe I'll do this. Maybe I'll do that. No, it's like, all right, A, B, C, pick one, B. All right, next one. Boom. And your brain is just firing and it just takes you to a whole different place. So I can definitely agree with you being uncomfortable, man. Yeah. As men, I feel like if you're not uncomfortable, the only thing that motivates us besides children, maybe family, is not being satisfied.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not feeling fulfilled, right? Yeah. I can definitely agree with that, because it doesn't always end there either. You always have to put yourself in a spot where you can feel uncomfortable. And this kind of relates into many different things that you do in life. After once I hit 18 and really when I hit 20, I started with a company where they required me to move to different states. And so that's where the moving around really came from.
Okay, yeah, because I was going to ask, so when you were from Orlando, where did you go after that? You came to Texas, or you went to Denver and then went back?
I went to South Carolina for 2 years.
Oh, okay.
Worst place ever, bro. There's a town called Bluffton. in the middle of nowhere, like I think it's like population was like 25K, bro.
That's ridiculous.
And
No, it's nothing there.
no, nothing. I was there for 2 years. Then I went back to Orlando for a few months. Then they were like, okay, we need you in Denver. So I moved to Denver for 2 years. And this is where I had already gotten into the trading. This is where I'm like, okay, cool. Kind of going back into the story, right? But once I went full-time trading after the course, 2 weeks in, I was making some good money every day, you know, $200-$300 a day trading.
It's pretty good.
And then one single day blew my entire account.
That's always
And blew my entire account. And that's when I was kind of like looking for different opportunities. And at the time, this company reached out, was like, hey, we need you in Denver. I went to Denver, and this is where the trading really took off for me because I didn't know anyone in Denver. I know, like I went there, I knew one or two people, but you know, they had their own thing going on and I had to adjust to the new job and all that. But I had so much time on my hands to learn as much as I can. Right. And that's where the trading side of me like really grew out because I had so much time to myself to learn.
Yeah, you really had to lock in. There's no friends, family, girls, or nothing like to go and do. So
well, I had a little bit of fun, but you know, you kind of had to mix that in there.
Yeah.
That's where the uncomfortable comes out because you have to go and step out and meet people and network.
So you said that you started getting into trading and quit your job in 2018. So after that, how long was it? You said right after that you moved to Carolina? And then
No, so that was when I moved to Carolina. It was back in 2014.
Okay. Oh,
Something
okay.
like that.
Before you started trading.
Yeah, before.
Like
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Got you.
Yeah.
So then after that, when did you move to Denver while you were trading?
That same year, 2018.
Okay.
Yeah, within like a month of quitting my job, blowing my account, I'm in Denver.
Dang.
So how did you bounce back from blowing your account? Because you said first it was $1,000 in Bitcoin that you lost, but theoretically you didn't really lose it. It went down in value.
Yeah.
And so I mean, I'm sure you've made that $1,000 that you invested back at 10K. Like, dude.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, I've bought it around 15, 20. You know, I think my average is at 23K in Bitcoin. So, you know, but that money that you blew, how did you bounce back from blowing that money when you were in Denver trading?
All right, so I needed to keep myself grounded. I needed to work my ass off on that job, you know, save as much money as I can to then build another account. So not only did I take that course in Miami, but there was other courses online that I ended up taking, right? Because I always felt like you need to keep investing in yourself. You know, I'm a student of the game. I'm always going to learn. And so that was really a time when I did as much research as I can, bring my confidence back up before I do get back into the market like that, you know, maybe take a few months off. And then once I'm ready to go back in it, then that's when, you know, I'll really dive deep into it. So in Denver, that time between 2018, 2019, pre-COVID, that was when the trading really took off for me. I started seeing numbers that I never even imagined, to be honest with you. And then this was kind of before Instagram was like such a big tool for advertising. Now, I didn't do it consciously, right? Where I would post my charts, I would post my trading, my profits and all that good stuff. And now I'm starting getting a ton of questions of how do I start? Where do, you know what I'm saying? How do I learn? And I got the idea of like, okay, well, let me teach some people, you know, because I've always been very analytical. I've always been good at creating presentations and how to teach someone something, right? And people started really reaching out, and you know, I did it for a few months where I was teaching people for free, and then I was like, okay, you know, it was a 3-day course, 2 hours each day. And people were like giving me some really good feedback. And I was like, okay, what can I do with this?
Time to make a masterclass.
Time to make a masterclass. Okay. But not yet, right? But the plan was that I'm just going to keep doing this for a few months. I had a business partner of mine. We called the company Lone Wolf Capital FX, and it wasn't like registered, it wasn't legit yet, you know, but we're like, the philosophy is always like, you know, do it before you go legit. That way you can get some money. Because, I mean, let's be real. IRS ain't gonna come after you for like few hundred bucks.
No.
They'll come after you after you start making 10, 20K. And all that. So we did that, and I did it for a few months where I was teaching people how to trade on that 3-day course. I taught maybe like 20, 30 people, and this was in between also me going to work, coming back, doing my studying, then planning out the courses I was going to teach. And I remember clearly, like, this happened during November of 2019. We were so in tune with the markets, me and my business partner, and then all the other people that were on Zoom calls, and we were always on Zoom calls trading at night during London session, New York, and I'll explain, the sessions. But we were so in tune with the markets and all the world news that was going on. And we knew that I had read an article online where there was a first case of COVID. And it hadn't made any big news just yet up until maybe January. Then it really starts picking up because now it's starting to spread. It's like, what's going on here? And I remember clear as day, I think it was the first week of March of 2020.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Everything dropped like 40%.
Oh, what? Everything dropped. Everything just took a shit completely. And I was on a Zoom call with like 6 of my buddies at the time, and we're watching this happen. Now, you can't predict the bottom, right? Mm-hmm. But you know that there's certain things that I look for in the market, certain, analysis that I do before I decide I'm going to take a position. But we knew instantly, like, it wasn't necessarily Forex didn't really get affected all that much because currencies around the world are still fluctuating. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They still got to keep moving. Yep. But the one thing that we took advantage of was the stock market, because everything was dropping. Boeing, Carnival Cruises, hotels were shutting down.
Oil,
oil went down.
Bro, it was crazy.
Went down to a cent.
Yeah.
A cent is
it went down and then it went down and then shot back up, and I think it leveled around what, like $20, $30?
$20, $30,
yeah.
Man, if you could have got in at a cent and bought as much as you could, you'd be making a killing.
Yeah, what? Of course. And so we took advantage of that. It was maybe like a week or so after we realized that the bottom was the bottom. You know what I'm saying? And from here, it's like, okay, a good opportunity to kind of start buying in. And, I think that's a skill set that we had, and, I still have, is that you're able to take those opportunities and run with them. Mm-hmm. Right. So, yeah, again, 2020 was a very interesting year. That's when, my trading really, like I said, it was already at a point where I'm like, shit, I can go full time again.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the chance. On top of that, I got laid off. Because where I was working at the Gaylord Rockies in Denver. It was one of the bigger hotels in Denver. Mm-hmm. And I know they have a Gaylord Texan here, but the Rockies out there was just fairly new. And so I got laid off around July of 2020. I got laid off. And then the plan was, okay, I have a business partner. The plan was we're gonna start up a business. We're gonna go legitimate. We're gonna call it something else. And we called it Ariel Financial Group. We had everything was legitimate. And then I made the jump to LA. And in LA, that was a different time. Everything was shut down. Nothing was going on. I think it was a really bad time for me to move.
Even in LA, it being a blue state and all, I mean, dude, they were like crazy with that shit, dude. Like, everybody in Texas think, oh yeah, gotta wear a mask is bad. Bro, they were making people stay inside their apartments and stuff. Like, you can't come out. I saw this one story back then where they were talking about, oh yeah, they would like have people stay inside their apartment complexes and not come out. I was like, dude.
Oh no, they had full shutdowns,
That's
man.
Real
curfew
bad.
And everything.
Couldn't imagine that.
Yeah, no, it was a dead town, man. But people still got out somehow. So so once I was in LA, we kicked things off. Me and him rented a 3-bedroom, 2-bath in West Beverly Hills. Pretty nice area.
House or apartment?
Apartment.
Oh, okay.
But it was nice. It was nice. It was just pricey. But we had the capital to do it. I had the money to we can afford that.
You're saying that's probably like what, $6,000 a month or something?
45.
Yeah, I was gonna say 3 grand.
Yeah.
It's gonna be expensive.
45. We had the 2 bedrooms, so I had a bedroom, he had a bedroom. Then we had the office, which was like the brain room, kind of what you have going on here.
Yeah.
Right. We had screens everywhere. Like, it was.
I got a picture to show you after we're done with this.
That's cool though. I can just imagine screens everywhere.
Screens everywhere, man. 2 desks right next to each other every single night. at 1, 2 in the morning during London session. You know what I'm saying? We get a quick nap in real quick, and then he'd like come and knock on my door like, hey man, you ready? Let's go. And we'd go into the office and just sit down, have a little, White Claws was a big thing back then. Don't judge, but you know what I'm saying? White Claws with a little bit of tahini and all that. It was crack. So, so we're, you know, late at night having a few drinks. And at this time, we're also live streaming our trades. So people can see what we're doing live and saw the live accounts, the trades we were taking. If they want to take the same trades as we did, they can. They knew when we were going to get out. They knew everything. It was a whole vibe. You know, we had music playing, OBS playing. We had lights. Oh, yeah. Whole setup. Yep. And so that happened for a while until, you know, we started doing pretty well, right? And then we started working on the course itself for Ariel Financial.
Okay.
And we built a whole website for it. We had different areas to learn from, you know, again, the basics, intermediate, advanced, and I'm talking about like 50, 60 videos of like 30 minutes long each. Some that would go over, you know, an hour. And then we had the psychology side. Psychology side is something that a lot of people ignore. It's like if you don't know how you're handling your money, how you're investing it can really fuck with you.
Yeah.
Big time mentally, you know, because some people don't know how to detach themselves from money. And some people don't know how to accept losses and they think they're just going to win, but it's not always the case. And so once we launched the website, you know, we got a good hit from it. It was great. Everything was going well. That at that point we had investors as well, people who wanted to invest money and have us manage their accounts. So we had 2 10K accounts and we had 1 25K account, and we would trade them on different terminals at the same time. We had our own accounts, but he would take one account, I would take another one, and then the other one was like, okay, let's do it together. And this is all being live streamed. People can see that we're running a 25K account. You know, we're making,
oh shit.
Yeah. And the idea was that, you know, it's 50-50. So whatever they make, we make 50% of it.
Okay. Gotcha.
So that was kind of a way of like, you know, getting into different sides of investing too, was just running different accounts. Now, things kind of took a turn when, you know, towards the end of 2020, when we started doing a little bit of too much traveling, too much partying, all that good stuff. And at that point, we're losing a little bit of control. So here we are in another bad situation, you know. We didn't lose the investment accounts, but at some point they decided to pull out. And that was fine, right? But then it came down to another point where, because we were so distracted with what we were doing, living a certain lifestyle, I blew another account. You know, another big account.
Was that your personal account or was that
my
the
personal
investor account?
No, the investor account, we always told them that if we hit 50% negative of their account, we'll give them back the other 50%. And then we had them sign contracts and everything.
Oh, okay.
It was legit. Yeah.
So this whole time from 2018 to 2020, you were still working a job and still doing the day trading and, like you said, still trying to set everything up.
Until July 2020, that's when I went full time again.
So during this whole period right here where, you know, you're partying it up, accounts are being blown in this specific one, how old were you?
I'm 32 now. So what was that? 29, 28?
Okay.
Yeah, around there. 29, 28.
You look about like 26, 27 right now.
Well, thank you, man.
Aging good. Good.
It was around that time. But that was another rough time, man. 2020. Yeah. Towards the end.
When you say that whole when the lifestyle started catching up, it just reminds me of the network. Whenever Mark Zuckerberg moves to LA, and that's when he moves in with Justin Timberlake. I can't think of his name in the movie, but he moves in with Justin Timberlake, and then that's when you could just see the lifestyle of it. It's just getting out of hand now. Everybody's trying to party too much, and he's trying to stay dialed in, but everything around him is like party.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's one thing, man. It's like, again, LA was shut down. So how can you get out? How can you go out and have a good time? Well, we'd either drive further south or we'd drive further north, or we'd just rent some yachts and go out on the water for a few hours.
The yacht thing. But, you know, it's funny that, you know, from one perspective, it's like, damn, you know, I'm getting out of control. But everybody around you is like, oh, shit.
Oh, yeah.
This guy's really blowing up. You got a yacht in the water?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how common it is to have a yacht in the water in California, but like a yacht in the water, boat parties.
Yeah.
But, you know, After that, I mean, okay, so you recollect yourself and you're like, okay, fuck, we're fucking up. We got to do better. What happened next?
So we had a fallout. Me and him had a fallout, big time. And then after that, I kind of needed to look for the next big thing, right? I needed to kind of think of myself and where I was going to go to next. And that's when I got back into the hospitality industry. I was like, okay, I got to build my way back up again, right? I always felt like my 20s, to be honest with you, were lessons learned, right? I feel like my 20s is really a time for me to fuck up as much as I can and learn from it. Yeah, right. Because now in your 30s, you should know what you should be doing, or what you should be, what you should want to do, right? I think that's important. And so going into my 30s, I was like, okay, well, I got to build my way back up again. You know, you get down, you got to get back up. At this point, a lot of people would be like, nah, trading it for me, you know, I'm just gonna let it go, whatever. I'm just gonna go into something else. But I needed backup. And so that's when I moved to Atlanta. I moved to Atlanta with a company out there. And I was, again, kind of in that building phase again. And was there for 6 months. I hated Atlanta, bro. Atlanta's not it for me.
Well, what is it? Is it the vibe? Is it the
They scamming out there, bro?
Atlanta is like another LA, you know, it's becoming another LA. And so I was in a nice neighborhood, but a light down or two lights down, there's nothing but like liquor stores and strip clubs. And you know what I'm saying? So it's that vibe, bro, you know?
Yeah, I got you.
So I left Atlanta after 6 months and I went to Orlando, back to Orlando. Was there for maybe another year, 2 years. And then I made my way here.
So that whole time that when you had moved to Atlanta, were you still trying to do the day trading?
Yeah. Okay, that was always still, yeah.
So then you had went back a little bit where you were just like working the job, doing the day trading, and just trying to make it all work.
Yeah, exactly. Build my way back.
You know, just to clarify, are you trading on the stock exchange, or are you doing more crypto based, or how is your split looking like?
Mainly Forex, man. Forex, the reason it's so attractive is because you don't need a big account. You don't need a big account because at the time, there was B-Book brokers. B-Book brokers are from different countries. So they allow you to have bigger leverage, which means that if you, let's say, for example, you have $1,000 account, the maximum that I've always seen on average is 500 leverage, which means that you can tap into half of your account. You can risk half of your account before you get margin called. Margin called is when like you no longer can trade the other side of your capital. So those brokers allow you to use as much capital as you can. Whereas, for example, Robinhood or, you know, in different stock.
Like, rest in peace, FEMAX.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, you have all these B-Book brokers and everyone's like, yo, like I can just drop $1,000. And I've seen it. I had one student of mine at the time, he had $1,000 account and he doubled his account in 1 week. Off of just made into $2,000. And I've seen another guy who I taught as well had $100 account and built it to $1,000 within a few weeks.
Jeez.
You know what I mean?
So is that every day they're just watching the market?
Yeah. So let me kind of go into how the foreign exchange market works. The foreign exchange market is two currencies, right? It's basically the exchange of a currency. That's where you're trading. You have the base currency and you have the quote currency. Okay, so for example, it could be Euro USD. So you have the euro, you're trading the euro against the dollar. And what it does is you look at the quote currency to give you how much it's going to be for you to purchase the base currency. So for example, I guess in simple terms, is you look at the pair, you always trade the first currency that's in front of the second currency. Okay. So if it's Euro USD, that's how they're paired. Let's say, for example, you look at the market and you say, okay, Powell's about to talk, or, Biden's about to talk, or something's going on in the US. And they say something stupid, that brings the value of the US dollar. So what do you think of the euro is going to do? The euro is going to go up because it's gaining value, right? As the dollar is dropping, the euro is gaining value. So you're going to buy the pair. You buy the pair and you make money on the way up, right? Now, people think, okay, well, what are you buying? Well, you're not necessarily buying anything. What you're doing is, you ever heard of options trading with stocks? So it's essentially the same thing. You're just going in the direction of the market and you're saying, I believe that the market's going to go up today. This pair is going to go up. So I'm going to make money on the way up. Now, if the euro drops in value and the dollar goes up in value, then you sell the pair because the euro is still in front of the US dollar. So everything is based off of the first currency that's in front of the second one. And so it just, again, man, I've seen people 10x their accounts in a single day. I've seen some crazy numbers trading, and so, but that's why it's so attractive, because you don't need to have a big account to make good money. Yeah.
Yeah. You see, with me, I do a lot of crypto, but I'm not constantly trading. At first I was. That's how I got into Bitcoin, around 15K. Ethereum was under 1,000. A couple of other stuff I was playing around with, like Cardano and all that.
Oh, yeah.
I was playing around with that. But now I just kind of like throw a little bit of money every week inside of it and just let it build up. Because right before the crypto market tanked about a good 60%, I think it was like a year and a half, 2 years ago. Yeah. I had pulled all that out, so I had made my investment initially, pulled it out because I was watching guys on YouTube, Crypto Face and all that.
Oh yeah.
So they're looking at it, and I'm learning how to read the charts and whatnot, candles and all that. Yeah. So I pull out, and then sure enough, it started going down like 60%, and I'm like, oh crap, we got to figure out when this is gonna stop dropping. So eventually tapered off under 20K Bitcoin. Ethereum went back down to like below 15. So I'm like, all right, cool, throw it back in there, all of it, because at this point, like, the money's been in the account for so long, it's like I don't even need it. So absolutely. Now I'm just riding it on the way back up again,
and it's good that you guys are getting into it now, and I'll tell you why. Every 4 years there's a cycle.
Right? We're going through a halving cycles now.
Oh, exactly. So if you guys are a little familiar with it, it's a damn good time to be buying right now and holding, at least until like early 2025.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's, and it's a good point you said that you brought up Cardano. That's one that I'm heavily invested right now, because right now it's hovering over 46, 47 cents. The all-time high was $3.10.
Yeah.
Now everyone's talking about it hitting anywhere between $5 to $10 by the end of this year or at the beginning of next year. So, you do the math, right? Whatever you got invested, you're
one of the most important things I learned about crypto trading is like, you can't like just look at the losses, because the money's gonna go up and down.
Oh yeah.
And that was the hardest thing for me, because I was like, all right, cool.
Always checking Coinbase.
Yeah. Always checking on Coinbase, early on in my, in my crypto experience, always checking Coinbase. And it's like, God damn, like, when is this money gonna go back up? Should I pull out? And then, I just, I had to flip that switch where it was just like, let me just get rid of the app.
Yeah.
For sure.
So when the time came, did you invest in Dogecoin? Because that got big right around the pandemic,
That was one that I missed out on, man. I didn't believe in meme coins like that. You know what I'm saying? I missed out on that big time, because I remember, man, a buddy of mine who's now my best friend in Miami, we've always been really good friends. But at the time, he came out to visit us in LA, and he stayed with us and everything. And I remember clearly he was in the office. We had like a whole like couch and everything. And he's like, bro, why don't we drop 1,000? Right? It was worth a cent that time. Why don't we drop 1,000 each? You know what I'm saying? Let's just see where it goes. I'm like, man, I ain't doing that, man. Like, I'm good where I'm at right now, and he didn't do it himself, but up until 2021 April, that's when it took off to 75 cents.
But around that time, people were throwing all this money in there, but correct me if I'm wrong, but there was not enough capital to cover everybody's gains around that time with that.
Because of what, FTX and all that?
Yeah.
Well, FTX was a big like platform where everyone was advertising. You had celebrities advertising it. I don't know if you guys know the backstory on that.
Brady was
SBF.
Yeah. You guys know the backstory?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, man. That's a crazy time.
So were they just getting big because FTX was just paying everybody to
advertise, of course.
Okay, gotcha.
You got Kim Kardashian and Mayweather, bro. What do they know about trading?
Right.
And so like you got the most, like, obviously they're very influential. I get it. It's a good strategy to market it, and I understand it. But man, come on, like, you got so many people around the world getting into this that they can't control the price of Bitcoin. They can't control the big whales that are pulling out and dictating price. So what happened? As soon as, the crypto market dropped it was in 2021? Yeah, 2021 when everything dropped. They didn't know how to cover their investments. So they were losing a ton of money. They had to move their money from FTX to Alameda, which was like their sister company or whatever. which is illegal. You can't do that. You can't move investment money to somewhere else.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah,
that.
they didn't have.
So I made a research.
Yeah.
So what would you have to do to get your money? You have to cash out and pay your capital gains.
Yeah, but the problem was that FTX has shut down. No one can cash out.
Yeah. The rug pull.
So then that's why they were like, "Oh, let's move it over," and then that's why it was like, "Okay, got you," because they were like, "Let's see if we can try to cash people out to try to keep it alive."
The problem was that they had funds from people who, invested so much money, and they're not allowed to trade for people. But you have people in corporation, his little group that were making all these trades while the market's tanking. You can't. Come on. You know what I mean?
Talk about risk management, am I right?
Yeah, of course.
Not risk management at all.
No, another thing I saw too back then, I was getting into using Celsius a lot, because they had more options than Coinbase at the time. And then, they ended up getting bankrupt. And I'm like, God damn it, bro. And it was cool because so I use a specific browser where they give me, tokens for using the browser. I'm sure you're familiar with it.
Which one?
Brave.
Oh,
you get BAT every time you watch ads. When you use Brave, they pretty much run Chrome, but whenever you watch an ad that's curated by them, they give you a little bit of BAT. So you can use that BAT, and the thing about it though is that I had to connect it to a Celsius wallet, and I'm always on the computer, so I had so much BAT on there I couldn't pull out the Celsius account. I'm like, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, it was worth maybe 20 cents at the time. But I mean, bro, 20 cents. Yeah. I mean, I could move that somewhere else, bro. I could put that shit into Doge or whatever.
Good old meme coins, but they're still making noise now. If you run into the right meme, the Twitter sport X, that space, you can find some really, really good opportunities with meme coins. Some crazy meme coins.
Yeah. I wouldn't even want to take the chance.
Exactly.
I would say if you don't know what you're doing in it, I wouldn't even tap into that, trying to go into the other ones. Just stay in the regular market, like you were saying, in foreign exchange and everything like that.
No, like David, he'll stick to his prize picks.
Yeah, I'll stick to prize picks. I don't even bet like that, but I just sometimes I'll dibble and dabble a little bit.
Yeah, that's
like Super Bowl, big events, something like that. But I'm not every single game I gotta put my picks in. Heck no. I just know if I do that, that's when you become, a degenerate gambler, and I'm not trying to become that. I'll just try to be safe. So I wanted to ask you, can you give us, maybe if you have any, do you have in your mind, just 2 or 3 myths about being a day trader?
2 or 3 myths? That's a good question. What nobody tells you about is that you're going to be living a certain lifestyle, that you're going to be making all this money right off the bat. There is such thing as trader's luck. There's such thing as beginner's luck, but that runs out quick.
Yeah.
So anytime anyone that's ever really trying to get into the trading space, the first thing you need to learn is get the basics down. Understand, what it is that you need to see, what you need to analyze. You need to be able to understand risk management more importantly, because if you don't know risk management, you can continue to blow your account left and right. And what I mean by risk management is understanding whether you're going to be risking, say for example, out of $1,000 account, if you're going to risk 100, what's your reward, right? So your risk is 100, but if your reward is 100, then you're basically risking risk to reward ratio is 1-to-1. Now, if you shoot for maybe 200 or 300 as your reward, now your risk to reward is 3-to-1. Mm-hmm. So if you lose one trade, you're only going to lose $100. Now, the second trade you take, if it's 3-to-1, you're going to hit your $300. You're going to make back the 100 you made. So you're up $200 for the day. Mm. So if you can understand it in those terms, and being able to say, okay, well, this is my risk to reward, and this is the A-list setups that I'm only going to be waiting for, then you create that patience to become a successful trader.
So what is the best advice that you received from somebody who got you into trading?
The best advice that I received was, especially from the mentors that I learned from, was don't look at the money. Look at the percentage growth, right? So if you have $1,000 account, if you can build that account 5% a week, I mean, that's $50 a week. That's $50 that you didn't have.
Yeah, true.
You know what I'm saying? That's $50 you didn't have that you can go and enjoy over the weekend. You can buy something here and there, but there's times where the percentage growth really matters in an account. Yeah. If you start looking at the money, man, and you're chasing the money, you start making unnecessary trades that you don't need. or you don't need to take.
Yeah, see, that's what I learned too. Is a lot of people say if you're chasing the money, the results that you want are probably not going to come.
Oh yeah,
you really got to just enjoy or lock in on something other than the money, and the money's just naturally going to come if you just lock in on anything else besides the money.
Exactly.
Yeah, because even whenever you do get the money, you know, then you're like, oh, it's not all it's cracked up to be. Because at the end of the day, I mean, like, let's say, you know, you're chasing a bag, you get the bag, and, you know, as an individual, you're like, now what?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, you see losses, and naturally you're going to want to chase those losses.
Yeah.
So you start making those uncalculated trades where it's like, I feel like this is going to go up now. And then you take a loss. No, but it looks like it's going down. Now you go into another trade, and now you take another loss. So you're digging yourself deeper in a hole.
Yeah.
And now your account is looking much more, how would I say, you know, a lot less than what you expected it to be by the end of the day. So if you stick to certain rules, and which is something that I've always had, is I'll have, you know, I have a set of rules where if I take a trade, I win that trade, I could decide to walk away and call it a day. Most of the time that's what plays out. Or, you know, if I end up taking a loss, I can then take another trade, right? So I can kind of even myself out because again, the risk to reward. I know I'll make it back if I hit my target. But I have 3 trades a day. That's really essentially my rules. Okay. You know, if I take one loss and I win one, I can walk away. I'm good. Now, if I take 2 losses back to back, I'm done for the day.
Got you.
Yeah.
So what if you take 2 wins? You're gonna take that chance on the third one?
No, I'm definitely walking away. At that point, I'm good. Especially the amount that like I mentioned, you know, the amount that I be seeing on a daily and all that. I mean, it's more than enough to walk away.
Yeah, you're like, I'm just gonna take my W and go.
Yeah.
So what is the most important metric or indicator that you use to make decisions when trading?
So it was mainly, you know, the fundamentals, because you have technical analysis, then you have fundamentals, right? So you have to be aware of what's going on around the world. So if there are certain things happening in a different country and that's the currency you're trading, like let's say, for example, the Japanese yen, then I have to see what's going on in Japan, right? I have to kind of, and there's different softwares that I use that will give you the news as soon as they come out, you know, even before you see them on TV. So you'll know about what's going on in Japan. You'll know about what's going on in, in Germany or in different countries, right? And so you can make conscious decisions based off of that. How are those news going to affect the currency to make my decision based off of the trade I'm about to take? And so, you know, understanding all those things, that's how I measure exactly how I'm going to get in and out of trades. But technical analysis is a very important key, aspect of it too, because essentially you're setting up your charts a certain way and certain things that you look for. I've become, there's 3 different types of traders. You have a scalper, you have a day trader, and you have a long-term trader or a swing trader. Okay. So the scalper is essentially who gets in and out of trades. It won't last in a trade more than 10 minutes.
So that's the candle ones? Is that the ones that are going quick?
Well, it's different time frames that you're looking at. So I'll kind of explain that. So the time frames that we look at is, and this is a platform that we use called TradingView.
Yeah.
Okay. You're familiar with it. Okay. So TradingView is really where we do all of our analysis. Okay. Now in TradingView, you have different time frames. And what these time frames mean is, let's say, for example, you have the 1 minute, the 5 minutes, 15 minute, 30 minute, 1 hour, 4 hour, daily, weekly, and monthly. So all these time frames is a representation of every single candle that's being formed. So if you're on the 1 minute time frame, you're going to get 1 candle every minute. Gotcha. If you're on the 5 minute, every 5 minutes, 15 minutes, every 15 minutes, and so on and so forth. But they all lead up to that single candle on that monthly time frame. That monthly time frame is carrying all the weight of every other time frame before that. So price is moving all the same. It's just the way you see it is the monthly is one single candle, and you know what I'm saying, you have the opening candle at the beginning of the month, and you have the closing of that candle at the end of the month. So all the fluctuation in that single candle on the monthly, you see all the detail on every other candle before that. Or every other time frame before that.
Gotcha. So you can kind of see how it's going. Like if every candle up to that last candle is kind of going down, then you know it might go up soon, or it might continue to go down.
So like, let's say, for example, if you're on the 1 minute time frame, you're going to get a candle every single minute. If the market is dropping, and then you start getting candles that are dropping, right? And then you zoom out to the monthly time frame, you're going to see that candle that's going to be dropping at the same time. Really what it's doing is just the time frames are kind of giving that perception of like, okay, yeah, the market's going down, but you can see the detail on those lower time frames. This is how we use the time frames to get into our positions, to get in early. Because if I wait a whole month for the candle to close, I'm only going to get one trade a month.
Yeah, okay.
Whereas if I'm day trading, day traders usually are in the market anywhere between an hour to 2 hours. If I'm day trading, then I'm looking at those lower time frames to get a very precise entry. Because
So how low do you go as far as, those, you got the, like the candles you said, because you have the 4 hour, 30 minute, 15 minute. Where do you find your most comfort in?
I for the longest I was on the 1 minute because it can get a little crazy. You can get lost.
But I mean, with the 4 screens that you have, I mean, theoretically speaking, you would probably have, let's say,
different time frames.
Different time frames.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Essentially, like if the highest I'll go is probably just a daily, just to see how it's moving on the day. The way the market works, and this is why again people are so attracted to it, the Forex market, is because it's 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. Okay, so it never really closes down up until just the weekends. The stock market is only Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern time to 5 p.m. Eastern time. And so I could be looking at different sessions on the Forex market. Is you have the Asian session, which is for this time here in Texas is around 7 p.m. The London session is at 2 a.m. here. And then you have the New York session, which is totally different to the stock market. Here it's at 7 a.m. So the sessions, the reason people trade different sessions is because depending on the currency you're going to be trading or the pair you're going to be trading, you see a lot of volume being kicked into the market. And when there's volume, you get these like crazy moves where you can make some quick money and get out. That's really the point is that.
So when you say the sessions, so like say I'm trading on London's time, then I'm going to be up at 2 a.m. every day doing my job at 2 a.m.
For about 2-3 hours.
Okay, got you. Okay, so it just depends on what session you want to be in.
Exactly.
What time frame you're actually going to be theoretically working.
Exactly, yeah.
Man, this is really good, man. It's funny because, hearing you talk about Forex, and just kind of close things up on my end, it's like, okay, we're both from the same kind of coin, essentially speaking, because, a friend got you into trading. I got put onto trading by a friend, and right now I'm not really, I got other stuff to focus on. So I'm not really just watching the markets and whatnot. Yeah. But, like you said, technical analysis, fundamentals, I can relate. And I just, I think that's the most important thing that we can take away from all of this is to push that message of, hey, there is another way to do things. And if you let me show you, and you subscribe to Ariel Delgado's masterclass, he can show you too.
Yeah. Well, I actually, so I don't have the masterclass anymore, but I still do offer the
free course on your
the online courses
on your Instagram.
Yep.
I saw that.
Yeah. So anyone who wants to get in, and of course, you guys let me know. I will teach you guys for free. For sure. Just even for
that's such a complicated thing to get into. I like it though too because when you say you have to pay attention to the things going around the world, you're just giving yourself a lot more education to take in.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're really in tune with what's going on around the world.
Exactly.
Because a lot of people aren't really in tune. They're just, if you pay attention to the news, you think you're in tune, but you're really not because you're just going and running with the narrative that the media is teaching you. Instead of you actually, doing your own research and saying, hey, this is what's actually going on over there. That's not a good thing to invest in right now, whatever the case is. So I really like that because you're staying educated.
Yeah.
So do you read any like books or anything like that to just like give you inspiration or just self-help or what?
Oh yeah. I think that's very important for anyone to always continue to evolve, right? And not just in certain areas of what you do for work or whatever it is that you do on the side, but within yourself. There is a good friend of mine out in San Jose in California. He really put me onto a chart that I never really paid attention to. It's called the Wheel of Life.
I feel like I've heard of it.
You've heard of it? Yeah. So a lot of the therapists and life coaches, that's kind of where they teach. And so what it is essentially is you work on different areas of your life, right? You have your physical, mental, you have your spiritual and your emotion. Okay. So if you work on different areas of your life on a weekly basis, you can focus on one area to say, this is where I'm lacking, this is where I need improvement. But you can subconsciously work on the other areas at the same time, in a sense, right? So if I decide I want to work on, let's say, my physical this week, what can I do, right? And that's kind of where I implemented certain things. The last few weeks, I moved my schedule from staying up till 2-3 in the morning and waking up at 6 a.m. to go to, do what I got to do. Now I moved it to 9 p.m., go to sleep, and then wake up at 4 a.m. every day and go to the gym first thing in the morning. Take a swim at the end. How can I make myself uncomfortable to continue growing? Recently, last week, I did a 48-hour fast. No food, just straight water and coffee.
Straight water.
You know what I'm saying?
Did you feel better after that?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, the first day I was hungry. Not gonna lie,
Yeah.
I was hungry. But a lot of people forget this, right? We go into a routine of knowing exactly when we're gonna eat, what time for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner, and when I had that first meal after, because I started it Sunday at 8 p.m., I ended it Tuesday 8 p.m. When I had that first meal, I didn't just dig in. I took a moment to acknowledge it, you know what I'm saying, appreciate it a little bit, damn.
That's hard.
You know what I mean? And so I'm not stopping there. Actually, now in June, I want to go for a 72-hour fast.
That's good. I heard doing the fast is really good because it's forcing your body to be uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's hungry and you're killing all of the old cells like cancerous
Yep.
or anything else there might be. And it's forcing your body to grow new cells, which is what you want so that you can get rid of those old cells. Because they say if the old cells stay in your body, that's how cancer, diabetes, and everything just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Absolutely, man. And I think it's important to always just continue trying different things in your life to keep yourself well balanced. Someone who is unbalanced, man, they're gonna be all over the place.
Yeah.
And so this kind of ties into not only working on my physical, but also working on my emotional side, which is relationships, friendships, family. How can you improve those areas at the same time, and I don't know how close you guys are with your family, but I know I try to stay close with my family. I try to check in with them every single day if I can. My friends, right? I don't necessarily have a ton of friends, and that's for a reason.
That's good though.
I keep myself very well connected to them, and I can really just name out exactly who I feel my real friends are.
Yeah.
And so I can count them. I have 4 real friends.
Yeah, see, and I think people use the word friends really loosely nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, I feel like a lot of people are just acquaintances.
Yeah.
And people are like, no, that's my friend, that's my friend, that's my friend. I'm like, man, that's not your friend.
No,
that's
man.
not your friend at all, man. That's just somebody you know. Y'all probably haven't even done a deep dive into conversation of who you guys truly are together or whatever it is. That's not your friend.
Yeah.
But people use that word friend so loosely nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's almost like a problem if you think about it.
For sure.
Because everybody's like, oh yeah, I can rely on them, but you really can't. Like if you call them right now when you're down bad, are they really gonna answer and be like, yeah, you need $100, I'll give you $100.
Oh, and that's a very good point. Not many people are aware of that, right? That look, I don't really have friends here. Okay. Now I've met people and I've made acquaintances and all that, like you mentioned. My real friends, one's in Miami, one's in Orlando, the other 2 are in San Jose, California, right? But we talk every other day. I mean, I stay connected with them in different ways. Whereas I wouldn't be able to feel that same connection with other people that I'm not as close to. And so I surround myself with people who are in the same wavelength as I am. If I, what I'm saying, I don't, and it's not to put anyone down, but I like to surround myself with people who think the same way as I do.
Like-minded people.
Exactly, because they understand where I'm coming from, and if they ever need advice, they call me, and they know. I don't know if that.
No, that's cool.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah, we got.
Okay.
Yeah, we got about 15 minutes left.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got 3 other podcasts on this SD card.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah, I got a whole workflow, bro. But yeah, birds of a
Feather flock together.
Birds of a
Feather flock together. Something like
That
that.
didn't sound right though.
That didn't sound.
It did sound right. It's something like that, though. I know what you're talking about, though. But it goes back to what we've heard before, and I really like it because you say that, because I try to do the same thing. Is if you surround yourself with other millionaires, you're going to be the fifth millionaire. Or
Oh,
whatever
for
the
sure.
case is. It's
Yeah.
like if you surround yourself with those kind of people, you're going to be the fifth one.
Yeah.
Whatever the case is. So if you just surround yourself with other people that are trying to get to $1 million, you're eventually going to get to $1 million as well.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's the people you're surrounding yourself with. If you're surrounding yourself with criminals that are trying to rob and steal, you're going to end up wanting to probably rob and steal as
Yeah,
well.
for sure. And you mentioned how to test real friendships. Do you guys know how to test real friendships?
I have
a little bit before.
It's a dangerous game to play.
So
but hey, man.
I have my personal way. I don't know if it's the same as yours, but if someone asks me to borrow money, I know how much I'm willing to loan them to see if they'll pay it back.
Yeah.
And if they don't pay it back, I mean, it cost me $50 to get rid of somebody out of my life.
Yeah.
And that $50 is worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is. What is a good example for you to test something?
Oh no, it definitely ties into that. And the exact example I was going to give was that, and I've tested it on my friends.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very dangerous game to play, but if you play it right, you know that those are your real friends.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
like they should be, if somebody borrows money from you, they should be willing to come out of their own way to say, hey, I do owe you that money. Here's that money from 3 months ago, 6 months ago, whatever the case is.
The one thing is that, and I've tried it. I've tried it on a few from my friends, right? I'll call them up randomly, and I did it once, but I called them up randomly, and I was like, hey man, look, I don't have much time to talk, right? But I need, if you can, I need $10,000 right now. And he didn't ask a single question. He's like, I got you. I'll send it to you right now. He didn't ask a
That's
single
crazy.
question.
You just saying
He
kind
didn't
of
ask a
borrow 10
single
grand is
question.
on a whole nother level.
Yeah, a single question. And that's when I knew, and before he cut off and he's like, that's all you need? Do you need more? I'm like, nah, man, thank you. And before he hung up, I'm like, hey, I don't need it, bro. I'm just kidding. I just wanted to see if you were going to be there for me. And
I like
bro,
that.
that is, I was like, bro, but it's a dangerous game. I'm telling
It
you.
is a dangerous game. Actually, you
Yeah.
say that. I will call him an acquaintance, but we're really cool.
Okay.
The other day he asked me, he was like, hey man, I need your help. Can you send me $40? I was like, yeah, man. This is probably the third, fourth time, maybe fifth time I've loaned him money like this, where he's like, hey man, my card this, my card that. Can you send me $40, $50? I'm like, yeah, I got you. Send it to him. He's like, I'm gonna pay you back in another day or two. And then he pays me back.
Yeah.
And it's always cool. It always stays that way. But even if he didn't pay me back, then it's just like, all right, I just won't talk to you anymore. It's cool because now I know how it goes. You should just go out of your way to pay me this money. And you don't forget that you owe somebody money.
Oh, no, for sure.
You don't forget
I'm
that you
dead.
owe somebody
100%.
$50.
That reminds
or
me.
$100.
That reminds me of this episode of Everybody's Chris, where they're like, "How you forget when you got some free money?"
You just don't forget that kind of thing. So to tie it back in a little bit about what you talked about at the very beginning, how could you test a specific woman that you're dating to see if she's maybe compatible to maybe take her to the next step?
That's a good question. So now we're going into the sauce here, right?
little
So
bit,
You see?
A little bit of sauce.
Okay, but y'all guys are gonna have to catch that on a part 2 because we're running out of time. We're gonna bring you back for a second when we're gonna do a whole deep dive on that. David's
Yeah,
like,
I want to go into this a little bit. Let's talk about this. Not we don't get to talk about this too much, so I want to talk about it.
all right, guys. So again, thank y'all guys for joining. Thank you for coming out here, having a direct discussion with us. And there will be a part 2. There will be a part 2. I'm telling you, dude. There will be a part 2. Check it out. It's coming soon after this one. Stay locked in. Like, subscribe, comment. Thank you so much for coming out here.
Thank you guys for inviting me out.
It's
man.
crazy, man, because you follow the content, and now meeting you in person, it's like we kind of think alike.
Yeah,
in a sense.
absolutely, man. Yeah.
And the thing that tied it all together for me, it's that whole concept of money, loaning somebody money.
Yeah,
man. But again, bro, thank you so much for coming out here, dude.
It's a
I appreciate
big
it. Thank you
pleasure
so
having
much.
you on the podcast.
Oh, yeah,
I
and then
really do appreciate
I'll
it.
definitely be back here, man, for sure.
And we'll plug all your stuff in at the bottom too, so
Cool.
everybody can
Yeah.
follow you. If they need to contact you, whatever it is, we'll plug it all in.
Yeah, that free online course is going to be in our description, guys. So if you made it this far, check it out. Forex is not a scam. Your friend that was trying to get you in that, business meeting, that was a scam.
He's the scam.
That's a scammer. So again, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment.
We'll see you at the next episode of Director Sessions. Peace.